right, all right. Usually I'm spotlit, but we're gonna be real together right now for gallery mode. Welcome back, or welcome to day 2 of Performing the World. This is our last session. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning. Let's give ourselves a Zoom round of applause for being together. And I know it may be a little late for some of us, it may be a little early for some of us, or maybe a different time for some of us. So let's just get a little energy. Can we get off mute? Can we come off mute? Take yourselves off mute. Thank you. Yes, I like to see those red microphones disappearing. We take ourselves off mute. Okay, let's just get some energy here. When I say performing, you say the world. Performing.
The world.
Performing.
The world.
When I say PT, you say W. PT.
W.
P.
W.
Great. We are alive, we are well, we are active. That means everyone's coffee has a real nice strong blend, or the wine is hitting us a certain way. So this has been a great day 2. Earlier we went from garbage to possibility with Ecobanca.
Whoa.
Now we need to come back on mute. People could mute themselves. Thank you. So we went from garbage to possibility with Incomanca in the morning, followed by fighting, violence, combatants of peace with Chenalan and Suleiman. Then with Elena and crew, arts into acts performance, migrants and refugees across borders and building bridges across Europe. And now we are going to build with the Quicksand and the Quandaries, bringing to the Zoom stage none other than Lois Holzman. And we're going to stay in gallery mode.
Thank you, Des. I am kind of brain tired, and so I need your help in what? I want to know your stretches or movements when you're brain tired. So I have one. I'm going to do it, and I want everyone to do it with me, and then I want 3 people to volunteer theirs, and we'll all do them, and that'll really help me. Okay? So I have several, but the one I'm going to do is close my eyes really tight and then open them really loud, really big, really loud. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, everybody do it. 1, 2, 3. Great. Thank you. Okay, 2 more people, 3 people. What do you do when you're brain tired and you have to have your brain?
I'll go. It's more
Okay.
Get real big. Everything's big. Big breath
Big.
in. Ah, and make a sound. Ah.
Thank you.
Could I jump in? I like to go.
And one more.
I have one.
Okay, where
I
are
like the, I don't know, I'm on the top row on my.
You're on the bottom for me, but
I'm
Oh, there
I
you
like
are.
to do body tapping, so like tapping my chest or the shoulders or the head. You can do your arms,
That's great.
do your underarms, and you can reach back to your kidneys. Be careful with the kidneys. And I do up and down my legs and the bottom of my feet.
Thank you. Thank you, Howard. All right, I feel much better, very alert. And lesson number 1, ask for help when you need it. Okay. You're likely to get it. All righty. So thank you for coming. I want to start with kind of tell you not the origin story of this workshop, but the the feeling and passion for it. Okay. So, Des, could we have the first slide? Okay, you've seen this before. This is a book that came out in July that I wrote as a way I hoped to reach many more people with the practice of development. And I want to read you from the introduction, the first paragraph, and we're going to put it on the screen as well, so that if English isn't your first language, you can follow better than listening to me, although I am a pretty slow speaker. Okay. All right. I'm a developmentalist. I identify with the activity rather than the study of human development. I work to support people to develop themselves and their communities. I invite people to see development as a social, creative, lifelong human activity and to practice it in their daily lives. By develop, I mean create new responses to existing situations, transforming what is. These new responses can be feelings, ways of thinking and understanding, ways of seeing and talking, and ways of doing our relationships, ways of responding to the scariness of the world, ways of navigating uncertainty and unknowability, ways of living, ways of creating new forms of life. I'm a developmentalist because the world, the earth, the sky, the animals, the children, the elders, the families, the villages, the towns, the cities need to develop. Without creating escape routes, we remain trapped. Without creating the new out of everything that currently exists, we repeat ourselves. We continue to kill mind, body, and spirit. Thank you. So I think PTW is a developmentalist activity. And I think everything that we have seen and heard and participated in so far, these 2 days, has been led by developmentalists. Now, I wanted to do this workshop at Performing the World because most people don't think of themselves as developmentalists. Just like I read this book called Possible by William Ivory, I think, and he calls himself a possibilist. And I thought, I'm a possibilist. And it was like kind of made my day to think, oh, I have a new way to describe myself to myself. And so I would like performance activists and everyone here at Performing the World to begin to think of themselves possibly as possibilists and developmentalists. So I'm also a trained developmental psychologist with a PhD in developmental psychologist, and my being a developmentalist is a rejection of most of mainstream training and mainstream practices. It's a very different approach, being a developmentalist, to understanding what a human being is, what relationships are, what our past is, what our thoughts are, and of course, the relationship between our thoughts and our feelings, and the relationship between our past and our present. So rejection of that, and in the rejection, which isn't like, oh, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. Don't do that. Don't do that. This is ridiculous. No, you create something new. And in the creating of the new, you see, I don't think I like that old thing anymore right now, or I'm not sure I need it every single minute of the day. That identity of mine as worthless might pop up once in a while, but I don't need it with me all the time because now I have something new. I can see in a new way. So I think the practice of a developmentalist kind of changes our location from, to use our language from the theme of this, from being stuck in the mud to being, as an isolated person stuck in the mud, to being able to meander together in the mess, get out of being stuck. One of the, I have two images to show you to think about the relationship between the mainstream, the traditional, the popular, which has become popular, and a developmentalist thinking. First slide. Yeah. So psychologists, economists, sociologists, they now all talk about stages of development. And what they mean.
Put it away in the refrigerator. Thank you.
Could.
Maybe that's what they mean.
They mean put it away in the refrigerator. It's okay. So the image that goes with the mainstream ideas economically and sociologically and psychologically is the latter, a step-by-step process of individuals, groups, or nations proceeding to different levels of development. And those different levels are defined by Western ideas of progress. You could think of Freud, you could think of Piaget, you could think of, oh, I don't know which economic, I don't know. Yeah, even Marx, even Karl Marx, stages of development. I prefer the one on the right, the stage, the theatrical stage. That won't be a surprise to anyone here at Performing the World. The social activity of creating stages of and for the many performances of our lives. The creating of stages and the performing on the stages. That's the view of a developmentalist. Another way to put it, Des, can we have the next slide? Going back to some of the things I was saying in the opening session of Performing the World, is that you think of, oh, a person develops like a tree. It gets taller and taller, and it gets bigger and bigger, and at some point it, I think, stops growing in the traditional view. I presented at the opening session the image of a rhizome, that instead of growing up, we grow out. And all these different nodes that are kind of haphazardly connected sometimes, and sometimes show their face and sometimes don't. There are relationships, our histories, our ancestors, every single experience we've had, every relationship. It's a web, a tapestry. And that's what developing is growing that tapestry, growing that rhizome. Sometimes they shoot up above ground and sometimes they don't. And then sometimes two of them do and they connect, and it's like a whole other thing. So we are kind of a mess. We're not like neat like a tree. Okay, thank you, Des. That's it for the slides right now, I believe. So a couple of other things that are so embedded in how we see the world and go about our lives, that doesn't come from psychology, but is so reinforced by it, is that we're socialized to see as if we had glasses on, that saw only to the right and only to the left. Glasses that had us see some endpoints. And then all these endpoints become binaries, become either this or that. Are you a liberal or conservative? Are you black or white? Are you rich or poor? So I want us to experience in like 3 minutes how shaped we are by either or. Write in the chat as fast as you can the either ors that rule our lives, that you experience personally, and those that, well, you still experience them personally if there are things in the world that you've never encountered, but you still know about them. Like, what are our collective cultures like in the either or category? I see. Are they still coming? Yeah, they're still coming. Wow. I think that was like a minute and a half. All right, we're going to stop. Carrie, could you read them?
Sure.
Thank you. You're starting at the top of the bottom.
I'm going to start at the bottom because it's easier to find.
Okay.
Struggling, not struggling. Healthy, sick. Light, dark. Smart. Whoop, if people keep writing, I lose my place. Smart or not smart. Sad or happy. Crazy versus sane. Here, there. Houseful, houseless. Feel, don't feel. Live or dead. Mentally well, mentally ill. Nice
You
or
just
not.
lost your sound.
You did?
Yeah. Did anyone else lose Carrie?
No,
I hear her.
no, didn't lose your sound.
Yeah. Okay. I'm
No.
here.
But knowing, not knowing. Rich, poor. You still not hearing me, Lois?
Oh, I am.
Okay. Quantitative or qualitative? Empty or full? Don't know. I like that one, Savon. Religious or not? Right, wrong, open or closed, happy or sad, knowing or not knowing, thinking or feeling, living with memory loss or not, progressive or conservative, drag queen or not, excited or bored, large or small, hungry or full, studio apartment or 2-bedroom, healthy, sick, old, young, successful, not successful, thin, fat, biological male and female, single, married, shy or friendly, loving or hating, city, country, victim or savior. I'm either tired or energetic, with family, without, happy, sad, liberal or conservative, complaining or not complaining, clean, dirty, right, wrong, woman, man, neurotypical versus neurodivergent, alone, not alone, revolution, reform, right, wrong, Democrat, Republican, progressive, conservative, with or without, happy or sad, okay or not okay, pretty or ugly, young or old, rich or poor, fat or healthy, love or hate, good and evil, smart or stupid, old and young, conservative, radical, good, bad, able, disabled, old, young, girl, boy, liberal, conservative, smart or dumb, loved or not loved, good, bad, healthy or sick, healthy or not, real or not real, smart or dumb, up or down, desire, disgust, white or black, schooled or not schooled, happy, sad, poor, rich, happy or sad, able, disabled, in, out, productive or doing nothing, happy, sad, gay, straight, right and wrong, right or wrong, yes or no, true or false, succeed or fail, born here or not, are you alone or together, are you healthy or sick, yes and no, rich and poor, young and old, love and hate, nice or not, healthy or unhealthy, warm, cold, smart, dumb, good, bad, love, hate, come or go, healthy or sick, smart or dumb, young or old, yes or no, Christian or not, Jewish or not, good or bad, dead or alive, sad or happy, good or bad, sick or healthy, are you a man or a woman? And then it says, good to see you, Arlene. So I'll stop there.
Wow. I feel like I'm being driven crazy if that went on. What's it like to hear it?
That's what I felt too, Lois. Oh my God, stop.
Ordinary day.
We
We
said-
felt good or bad.
Right.
Well, I started laughing because it illustrates the ridiculousness of having just these two things, and there's so many of them. So then, no, they.
But the one I didn't hear that I was looking for was young and old. I didn't hear it.
Oh, I wrote that one, but maybe I didn't read it.
Okay, well, maybe I didn't hear it. Okay, old and young, because I'm very involved in the aging process. So I thought I'd say that.
Yeah, we could say it 10 times.
Right.
Old
I
and
love
young.
Right.
I love the performing of the binaries.
Mhm.
It was very different for me. The performing of it felt freeing.
Mm.
Oh, that's nice.
Mhm.
I also noticed how many of us, or how many of the binaries got repeated by this group. And that was striking to me, the ones that we kept going over and over and over.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I was appropriately appalled. And as it went on, I mean, I was kind of letting myself, but I realized there were some, like I said, I realized I was kind of doing a hierarchy. Like some I could live with, some, are just outright, I mean, like it's not, it wasn't just this pure, oh my God, this is all, like that. I just, without even thinking about it, I realized I wasn't responding to them all the same. I mean, the totality is, as I said, I think before, it's like, it makes it hard to breathe, but it was also just something more to it.
Yeah.
It roused compassion in me, thinking about people putting the things that they cared about in their selections. And I also thought there were commonalities, but there's some really unique things that only appeared once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. So who wants to live with that?
You see that Savan listed, I can live with it, I can't live with it.
That's a good one.
I mean, in my feminist studies as an undergraduate, we looked at this a long time ago and saw how it was complicit in oppression.
Most definitely. Yeah. Most definitely. So one of the places where it appears in a way that I think blinds us to new possibilities is in dilemmas. We all are familiar with dilemmas. We have some in our lives. Other people do. Friends come to us with, I have a problem. I don't know what to do. Right? So they're extremely common. And dilemmas, as far as I know in most of our cultures, are either or. Like you're faced with often what makes it a dilemma in this normative sense, is that you see two choices and neither one is really great, right? I want to protect my children, but if I protect them, then it doesn't allow me to do the other thing I want, which is to help them grow into responsible, independent people. So if I stop them from using their cell phones, or if I don't let them be on social media, certain sites, am I helping them develop responsibility? I know am I even protecting them? I don't know. So that's one dilemma that people have brought to me as a developmentalist. I would like you to go into pairs and take some time to share a dilemma and discuss it, freely, about 5 minutes, and then switch. And the other one of the pair will share a dilemma and have a conversation, and then come back. And just do it the way you would do it, meaning you have all your life experience. You have being in a Zoom room with one other person who you may know or may not know. You have our time together up until this very moment. So go forth, share your dilemmas.
Lois, I have a question, and that is, are we supposed to, in that 5 minutes, supposed to share our response to the dilemma, or just the dilemma? Okay.
No, it's like a 5-minute conversation about
Okay.
after one person shares, and then another 5-minute conversation when the other one does. Thank you.
Okay.
Clarifying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Any other questions?
Well, this is kind of silly, but for rooms that have more than one person in them, are they paired up, or are they?
They shouldn't have more than one.
Well, there's some
He
people
means
who have
watch party rooms. or
watch party,
places where
meaning
more
it's
than one-
literally
party.
parties.
they have 6 people in the room.
Figure out how you want to do it. If there's,
Okay.
Yeah,
one
we got it.
room
We
for-
got it.
Okay, that's great that there are watch parties here right now. Okay, I'll see you in 10.
Thanks, Sandy and Emily.
In progress.
Ooh.
That was the longest journey back from a breakout room I've ever had. It's like we were in the waiting area for quite a while.
Huh. Well, I'm sure a lot of you felt that we didn't have enough time, because no matter how much time you give people in a breakout room, they always say, "We just got started."
That's right.
Some dilemmas, some responses from the person who heard it at first, and what that whole experience was like. So anybody? Lou has his hand up, so.
And can everybody else mute? We're getting a lot of echo in background, I think.
Lou's hot to share. You're on mute, though.
Louis, you're muted.
There you go.
As luck would have it, I wound up in the breakout room with my 6th grade teacher.
Wow.
Arlene Stolnitz, who I always knew as Mrs. Stolnitz, but was invited to call her Arlene when we reconnected as adults.
Wow.
So anyway, it's I invited her. I told her about Performing the World, so I'm really thrilled to see her here. And we wound up in the same breakout room. So so that was great. We actually spent some of our time reminiscing about 6th grade. But then we caught ourselves, and got down to business. Arlene told me about her conflict when she made the move to Florida from Rochester. With her husband was ill, could no longer live in Rochester, and she had children and new grandchildren who she had to leave behind. So that was a dilemma, which she eventually resolved and discovered journalism, something that she had been attracted to, but had not been permitted by her father, or was strongly discouraged by her father from pursuing, because he couldn't see her going to live on the evil stage of New York City. So and how she, but how making that move and making the accommodations to it, she discovered a whole new, something that, that she had really wanted to pursue for a long time. And then we only had a few minutes left for me to talk about a dilemma of my own. So I talked about, I described a dilemma that I have. I live with Lisa Cole, who I think is on this. I'm not sure if she's on this particular session or not. And we have a very, what I think is a very developmental relationship, which we have worked very hard to have our relationship in a developmental way. And that has, raised, I sometimes feel like in our conversations, we are so different that I feel stuck. And at other times I feel like I think we have learned how to deal with it. She'll say things in conversations that I feel are conversation stoppers. And sometimes we do stop. Sometimes it does stop the conversation. But at other times, we seem to do better than that. And we had run out of time by that time. So Arlene didn't have time to say anything about my dilemma.
Thanks, Lou. And I'm sure we have a lot to say, but let's hear a few more. The experience or the actual dilemma, what you talked about, either one or both. Sue, your hand's up.
Yeah, so I had the delight of talking to Eunice, and we decided to make a bowl of soup. So our dilemmas were living alone, being a little lonely, living with other people. And my dilemma was, how do I live in Singapore and the US at the same time? And that I always look at, when I'm in Singapore, I'm in Singapore, and I'm in the US, I'm in the US. And we decided that the world was a bowl of soup. And that it has lots of different flavors and lots of different vegetables in it. And that one time you could taste from one side and be lonely, or you could taste from the other side and enjoy living alone, or taste from one side and it's Singapore and another side that it's the US, and that you didn't have to see these things as different things, that they're all part of the same world. And so the world is a bowl of soup, or a pot of soup.
Thank you. It's a great image. Jan, Stephen, Barb, and Billy.
Well, and I didn't include Ziggy and Coffee. Dr. Holzman, Ziggy and Coffee shared their dilemma of not wanting to share treats, and they both had the same dilemma. And it was very helpful because Jen and I actually babbled with one another until we clarified for one another what the actual dilemma was. So that was really an exercise in completing meaning and really very moving. So thank you. And Ziggy and Coffee say thank you as well.
Thank you. They could write me a letter, you know, because
Yes.
the book has a letter from a dog. Can I ask you, Jen, I don't know what the dilemma is for the dogs.
Well,
You don't want to share treats, so end of story.
well, the dilemma is I love you and want to share treats, and also the treat is mine, and if you try to take my treat, I'm going to fight you. And which path to go down.
Got it. Thank you.
So
Thank you very much.
thank
Cheryl.
you.
Cheryl.
Hi.
Hi.
I was very pleased to be in a conversation for the first time in my entire life with Christian. We had a great conversation. He nominated me to be the spokesperson for our little group. And we realized that our dilemmas were similar in that even though the way we were each describing our dilemma, it's black or white. It's this choice or that choice. This choice negates the other choice. But the more we got feedback from each other, we realized that's not the case at all. There's a blended version. You know, it's not, it's more, there's more than one, there's more than two options. Basically, that's what we got to. We realized we were both wrong about our so-called dilemma. We found a way to be more welcoming of new solutions.
That's great. That's wonderful. How many of you think that if you brought your dilemma to your most conservative friend, and I don't mean politically, I just mean conservative friend or parent, that would have happened?
Wait, sorry, what's that would have happened? What Cheryl said,
What Cheryl said, yeah, she and Christian realized, no, that's wrong. It's not just this or that. You could do X, Y, or Z, you know, the opening of possibilities.
What I think I'm glad you're asking that, because I was thinking, because you invited us to talk about a dilemma, it was different than me calling someone and saying, I need help with this, because then I start to describe this, and then this has a story that has like the problem, and then, but this was an invitation to say, like, the dilemma, and I heard a couple of people saying this, that it took us a while to be like, well, what is the dilemma? Is there like, there's like this thing happening, it's this, so I just think the invitation invited a much more philosophical playing than what I typically do. So I think if I went to someone and said, look, I want to explore this dilemma with you, can you explore it with me? That's different than saying, can you help me with X?
Yeah, thank you. I think that is a difference. It sets up a different expectation.
Yeah.
For the other person, but also for you.
Yeah.
Part of what I'm realizing is that dilemmas don't need to be resolved. I mean, it's actually helpful to just say them and not have the pressure of resolving them. You
know. I don't see Mika. Oh, there you are, Mika. You have your hand up, and then Hugh and Nancy.
I just wanted to share something briefly about the experience of sharing. And I experienced a kind of vulnerability in sharing the dilemma, not because it was deeply personal per se, but I think it ties in with what you were just saying about, you know, who you share your dilemma with and how you frame it. There's a vulnerability where it feels like if I lay this before this person, they may choose to try and fix it. They may look at it in a way that I don't want to see it. And so it's an opening up the possibility of relating to that dilemma with somebody else. And there's a sense of loss of control in doing that. That's a little bit scary, but also quite exciting, but scary. And exciting and scary.
Yeah. Not mutually exclusive.
Dichotomies. Exciting, scary, exciting, scary.
Thank you, Hugh.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Lois. So here's my dilemma. I had my college roommate and I in college were really close. We were like brothers. We did everything together. We had a wonderful time. And then after college, we went in different directions, as often happens. And he became a surgeon, and I went in the Peace Corps and then became later a political organizer and social therapist. So the dilemma is that he's a lovely guy, except for the fact, I mean, he's very giving in some way, except for the fact that in conversations, he completely dominates the conversation. He speeds away, he asks questions. When Phyllis, my partner, and I get on the Zoom with him and his wife, he often answers her question. We ask Lucy, is her name, ask Lucy to something, and he'll answer the question, or he'll correct her and say his interpretation. And he sort of just kind of runs the show.
Okay, we get the picture, you dilemma.
All right. So the dilemma is that I would love to be closer to him, but this thing that he does, I don't feel close to him at all. And I'm nervous that I couldn't say that to him in a way that he would hear at all. He's just on a different plane, different things. So that's my dilemma.
Who did you share it with?
Oh, I shared it with Nancy Hanks.
Okay, thank you. Sounds like you're stuck.
Yes. She had some good things to say, though, I thought were helpful.
Good. Great. Nancy Green.
So I was paired up with a wonderful old friend, June Hirsch. And I think the issue of not having to resolve a problem was very much on our minds. My dilemma was whether or not to sign up for an online class. It would be lots of fun to do, but why bother? You know, so it's kind of getting caught in that. And June was raising it, the happy sad issue. So June was raising, how can I be happy in the world today, given what's going on in the world, given how awful things are in the world today. I have all kinds of stuff in my life. I feel good about that. I'm happy, but then look at the world. So it kind of broke up into that. And we, you know, we talked about that. It was a very good, very brief, but very good conversation. And actually we generated another binary, namely comedy and tragedy. Like you know, that we talked about that in the world, all of this stuff exists. It's all existent. The sadness, the happiness, you know, her situation, the world situation, our situation. It's all part of the world. And what would it mean to embrace the world further? And June was raising a lot the idea of the rhizome, you know, that's very helpful in this conversation to think about, you know, not the tree, but to think about the world as rhizomic and including and embracing everything.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Yeah. So sounds like you all you all in different ways began to do this transformation. The transformation being from a dilemma, as we are socialized to understand them, as having to make a choice between two things, both of which have some problematic aspects to them. And transforming that into what I call a developmental dilemma. And a developmental dilemma is where you take off those glasses, the ones that have you see this and that. I can't see my thumbs. This and that. Take them off. And you don't know what you're seeing, which is wonderful, because it's a mess. It's a rhizome. And so one thing you might see, even though it's blurry, very blurry, is the chance to grow. The chance to develop. The chance to transform. To transform this problem solution, this or that, into something growthful. It's just a chance. It may not happen, but it's a chance. It's hard. I think it's impossible to do by yourself. So to go back to what Maureen was saying about how you frame it, and Mika too, how you frame what you might want help with or somebody's thoughts on, it's important. And framing it as, help me explore this dilemma is a potentially developmental framing for the relationship, as well as for you and the other person in their own thinking. So I want to spend our last time, half hour together. I want to share one letter I got that is in the book. And the person who wrote that letter is here, and she might want to read it. It's letter 31 out of 50 letters in a developmentalist guide. And as you can see, it's called What If I Can't Just Forgive and Forget? Sue, would you like to read it?
Sure, I'd be delighted. Dear Lois, I love the Developmentalist. The letters give me new ways to think, do, perform. I'd love to hear your thoughts on forgiveness, compassion, and letting go of hurts. My sister and brother were hurtful and attacking during a period, it's actually more than 2.5 years ago now, when my mother was dying. On one hand, I understand that this came out of their own pain and that I should be compassionate. On the other hand, it was very hurtful and malicious. While I've told my sister that I'm not interested in a relationship with her, I go to major family events, weddings, bar mitzvahs about once a year. I have made progress over the last 2 years, but I haven't been able to forgive, and I find it challenging to let go fully. I can't decide if the best thing would be to just completely stop relating to all of them. Can you give me a performance tip, a new way to see? Sue, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Sue. Great. So let's talk a little bit about what you see here in that letter. You could speak. I'd prefer that, but if you also want to write it in the chat, that's okay. Don't think too much.
I'm thinking about I could feel Sue's hurt. That's what hit me. And so I was just thinking about when someone we love hurts us and just that particular kind of hurt. So that's what was coming up for me.
Yeah. Gloria. You're on mute. Unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Okay, what I was thinking was what you said, well, what if you took off those glasses, right? And it's just like blurry and you don't know what you're seeing. So I'm thinking, well, what if Sue didn't have those glasses on, or me or anybody? And what would we be seeing? And so I thought, well, maybe one thing you might see is that it has nothing to do with forgiving or forgetting. Like maybe there's just something else. That's just I don't know. I thought about that in my conversation with Steve also earlier. Like maybe it's something else. And I can't go any further than that, but I just thought that was interesting, Lois.
Yeah, I think that's a big step.
Yeah.
You don't have to, I mean, not saying what something else is, but that there's something else. You know, I mean, people are like every day stuck. They can't possibly see something else.
Yeah.
And how painful that is.
Yeah. And how that can keep us in the pain, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else?
Well, I think this exercise, sorry, Lois, that you had us do really points out to me the dilemma of having to be a knower. Because when you mentioned just now something else and earlier possibilities, when something is known, that's it. There are no possibilities, right? If I know and there's no else. And when you mentioned the people who are more conservative that we might speak to, how would they respond? Well, they know, and they know what's right and they know what's wrong. And that's the way I've heard that come across. So the knowing, the freedom of not having to know or challenging saying that I don't know, don't even want to know, but wonder and be curious.
Yeah.
Is why I really like this exercise, because it's not about solving or knowing.
Yeah. But you're saying is so important, Rochelle. You know? I mean, where did parents get the idea that they know what's best for their kids? I mean, I'm serious. Where?
Books.
Books, their parents as
Their
well.
parents. Their parents.
Church, the Bible,
Yeah.
school.
Also just experience.
Mm-hmm.
That experience is what gives you the way to know better.
Yeah. And then there is the question, but I want to get to Jan and Stephen and Barb. So what if you know better?
Yeah.
Does it have to do with anything? Or and we make it having to do with something without it being imposed. That's the real thing, real important thing there. Jen, Jim, Stephen, Barb.
Just hearing this letter again and again, that not only do we see in dilemmas, we're inventing the dilemma. So Sue says, I can't quite let it go. I can't quite go all the way. Does that mean, so one side, does that mean I just have nothing to do with my family anymore? You know, so it's not just that, I'm just kind of getting the sense that was an invented dilemma, you know, that she invented those two poles of the dichotomy. And that's really helpful, like to be able to have somebody else go, where'd you get that idea?
Right. Right. Yes, that's right. Christian.
Thanks, Lois, and thank you, Sue, for sharing your example. Echoing Maureen's point, the rawness of the emotion was really palpable. And for me, what came up was how unuseful the framework of forgive and forget is. Just as much as knowing doesn't always serve us, forgetting in the example that Sue just offered is almost impossible, at least from my vantage point, and an unuseful, unproductive activity. So that was just a useful aha for me in this conversation. Thank you.
Good. Well, I'm June, and then we're gonna read the response I wrote whenever it was 2 years ago. June.
Yeah. Excuse me. Well, maybe this is too much in the vein of forgive and forget. I don't think so. And I'm trying to exactly remember the Sue's letter, but it's one of the things I think she said is that whatever the relative did came out of pain. It was their pain. So I'm thinking, it wasn't like anything malicious happened. Not that therefore you could hold on to anger, but it's not that, it was pain. So I'm just thinking if you could just have the other's pain. I mean, I remember when my father died, when my mother died, my father relatively soon started seeing another woman, a friend. And my sister had such a reaction to it. How could he do that? Ba, 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 ba. And, I try to just talk to her about, let's let him be happy. He had this wonderful relationship with my mother. Just, and we talked a lot about it and she was able to see it more. So, I mean, I don't know what happened in this story here with Sue and her relatives, but just to try to put yourself in the place of the other and kind of let the anger go that way, or, it's they're in pain. So let's kind of explore that a little more, just to be closer to the relative. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm looking at the time. Okay, Barbara, and that's it.
Okay. Am I on mute?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I really appreciated hearing Sue's letter again. I was familiar with the whole activity of Sue's mother dying and tensions with her brother and sister. And at the same time, I feel like hurts and betrayals, forgive and forget, as we're saying, are often not helpful. And yet, hurts, we all deal with hurts and the dilemma of hurt and what to do and how to face that with people that are close to us. And when you let people be close and you are close to folks, you can hurt each other unintentionally. Sometimes it is intentional. And how do you have conversations about that? How do you, what do you do to talk to each other about that? And as a social therapist for many, many, many years, I get approached all the time, and many of us do, with these situations. So I just really appreciate you're going to give your response. I've heard your response before, and it really touches me, and how you have dealt with this in your own life and how you move forward with people. And we can move forward with people without having to forgive them or forget. And I appreciate that so much. I think it's so important.
Yeah, thanks. If you went to the session today that was led by the Combatants for Peace.
Yeah.
I was struck by one thing that was said that just at the very beginning, so it probably went by a lot of people, in sharing why they share their stories. Said, it's not to be forgiven. It's not for forgiveness. And I was really struck by that because that's an unusual thing. He said it's to take responsibility. So it goes along with what several of you are saying. All right, my response, which now will be if I wrote it today, it would be very enriched by this conversation. So I'm going to put it on the screen. Okay. Dear Sue, thank you so much for your enthusiasm for the Developmentalist. I'm so happy that it gives you new ways to be and to become. And thank you for inviting me to respond to the topic you offer and to what in your life is prompting your own thinking about this. I think it will resonate with readers, as most of us have been hurt by family members and those we're close to at some time in our lives. What do we do now? How do we deal with and relate to what has happened? For some of us, the incident and the hurt become the defining feature of the relationship we have had. It seems from what you say that this is the case for you and your siblings. Some people stop speaking to each other. Others try to mend the rift. Some succeed and some fail. While you have stopped speaking to your sister, it's hard to tell where you are on this. I wonder if you've tried to mend the rift but failed. Have you told your sister and brother how you feel and what you want? Was their attack on you out of character for them? I also wonder how other family members and friends think about the situation and how they relate to who you are with your sister. If your answers are no and I don't know, you should consider asking them. Next slide. As for forgiveness, compassion, and letting go of hurts, are they connected for you? If they are, it's worth exploring how that connection might impact how you're feeling and dealing with the painful situation you're in. However else they might be connected, and I do hope you explore this, they sound an awful lot to me like shoulds, ways you think you should feel and act. It must be a burden to carry these around all the time. But why should you? Seriously, do you have to forgive? What does that even mean? Do you have to forgive your sister and brother in order to see them as human beings in your life, as two people you grew up with who loved your mother? I don't believe you have to forgive people in order to go on with them. More than once, I have felt wronged and attacked and hurt. I don't think I've ever forgiven the people for what they did, but that hasn't overdetermined how I feel toward or relate to them. Your sister was your sister before she and your brother were hurtful and attacking 2.5 years ago, and she still is. Forgiveness isn't a condition for an active, even an intimate relationship. If it was, nobody would talk to anyone. My thoughts on letting go of hurt are similar. You don't have to. What would be helpful and growthful is for you to make the hurt the size it deserves to be in your whole life. Who you are and who you're becoming. It's not the totality of you. You asked me for performance tips, Sue. I have just one. Lay down your burden. Developmentally yours, Lois. Okay, let's go to gallery view. reactions, comments, questions?
Respond if you want.
Arlene, you're first on my screen. Did you want to say something? I realized I'm so used to the hand being raised in that corner of the screen. You're on mute. There.
You lowered your hand, but you didn't unmute.
I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, Joel and I we've been together for about 7 years. We each lost our spouses and knew each ahead of time. And when we got together, his daughter was just incredibly upset over our relationship. And I have had a really terrible time dealing with it. Tried everything I possibly could, and nothing seemed to work. Fortunately, she has moved away, but of course, that takes care of the day-to-day stuff, but it's still there. And your last comment just resonated with me because somewhere along the line, more recently, I just decided that I could not constantly be reacting to her hurtful way of dealing with me and talking with me and ignoring me and everything else that goes with that. And all of the understanding I tried to have toward her, just nothing at all worked. And so I just decided pretty much what you have just said. This is not going to be the biggest thing in my life. And she was still living here at the time. And I said to Joel, and of course he's suffering too, because he does not want that to go on. But I've just decided that I had to put that whole thing away in a box over there and not deal with it anymore. Fully aware of her feelings toward me, and it is what it is, and I can't change it, and that's the way I've dealt with it. So it's helped. That has helped me a lot, and it's really pretty much what you have said, I think.
That's great. Thank you. You're making me realize in sort of corroborating the lay down your burden, how, people talk self-care as a buzzword, at least in the United States, right? Self-care. And usually I don't particularly like some of the things like, exercise, yoga, eating well, they sound good. But then others are so self-centered. But I think laying down these burdens that we put upon ourselves through through the dilemmas, really, and through the either ors, that's self-care.
That was important to me. I couldn't. I realized that I would not.
Nobody cares.
I wouldn't be able to change anything, and even though I had tried so desperately, and I came to the realization that I just didn't have to do that anymore. Really preservation of self. I think that's what it was.
Thank you. Others?
This is Ellen, and hi. And I what was I gonna say? I used to be so stuck on forgiving people, and I was so angry all the time. And I felt like I have to say to them in person, I forgive you, or I'm sorry, or, and then I realized you don't have to be in person with the person. You can just send it to the universe. You can send it to them. You don't even have to be there. And that freed me up a lot to just, that self-care, to be good for myself, to let it go as a practice,
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, Lois, I think about this all the time. It's something I think about like almost every week. Have I laid down my burdens? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But I think a lot about how whether or not I want to allow something that happened to completely determine the direction the relationship goes.
Mm.
You know, I think about that all the time. Because there are many times I feel hurt about this or that, or I'm angry about this or that. But the question is, does it overdetermine everything? And then the thing I also think about all the time is when we did one of the developmentalist workshops we did that I was able to go to. We worked a little bit on my mother's relationship, but also not having to think that the only way to see something is the way that I see it, and that things can be a messy soup of all kinds of things. There's not like one way to understand anything. And there's not one way that you have to hang your hat on it, you know? So, I mean, there's a lot of different things about this letter I think about all the time. And mostly I'm really, really grateful, Lois, that you responded and that we were able to create something with it and have conversations like this with it. I'm just enormously grateful and touched by that. So I'll let other people talk, but just wanted to share that.
Good, so am I.
Forgive.
Joyce and Maureen had her hand up, but now I don't see her. There she is. Okay, Joyce.
Yes, thank you, Lois. I love how you've organized this workshop. It's just your usual philosophical developmental self. I was thinking when you started saying that there's things you don't like about self-care, I thought it was another binary, like taking care of yourself. You have to choose yourself over others. And when Sue, you were just saying, do you want to have your hurt overdetermine everything? I just wonder if we can think of it as our burden, like if it changes something, if you think about, let's lay our burden down. So it's not just me versus my family, or what's good for me versus what might be good for my family. But it feels like for Arlene, maybe she laid down the burden of the relationship, the burdensome way the relationship was organized by her doing what she did, changed everything.
Yeah. She's going to think about that.
Wow.
Lois, I also had a question that I really don't, it feels like a silly question, but I don't know, maybe it's important. Like, is there a difference between a dilemma and a conflict?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there is, philosophically and in the dictionary and all that. But in everyday life, a dilemma is like you're caught between these things, and they're usually called the horns of a dilemma, and there's not a good outcome. I think a conflict, there could be a good resolution to a conflict, but I think there's no resolution to a dilemma.
There's just more of a stuckness.
Yeah, it's if I take a new job, I'm gonna make less money. If I stay at my job, I'm gonna kill myself. I mean, there's no way out because you set it up such that there's no good thing to do. They both have bad consequences. That's
yeah. Thank you,
Maureen.
I actually just wanted to do a plug for your book.
Thank you.
Well, and because I'm really feeling very helped by this group activity. And I think what I'm realizing is the gift of this workshop and the gift of your book, as someone who has the opportunity to work closely with you, I'm realizing you're giving people the activity that I feel you do with people. I'm not a plant, anybody.
No.
I mean, and I am, because, I love Lois. Anyway, I find I'm very proud of this ensemble and what we did together. I don't think this is easy to do, to keep opening something up. And I feel just very, very nourished by it. And it feels so, important, needed, quote unquote, more than ever. I don't know about that. It's always needed, but I think we're hungry for more intimacy. And it feels like this way of speaking is such a gift. And I want to give a shout out also to Savan Kazarjian, who's my partner in crime in my life's work. And she's so good at this activity. So she's sitting there in the dark in the car.
Hello, Savan. Thank you. Thank you, Maureen. And yeah, I mean, I am learning since the book was published that its best use is a social one. Like even I would love for everybody who is here to read a letter out loud with somebody. It's like it's to be used. I mean, I love that letter, and I've done a lot of workshops, a fair amount over the last year, and am eager to do more. So if any of you think, oh, that would be fun or good or instructive for my group of people, my team at work, whatever, my organization, please just write to me. And I'll be there. I think that short of that, just reading a letter randomly, it's like the thing that is so nice about the book is you could read something as short as is Sue's letter to me and my letter, and you could read that at a stop sign on your drive. You could read it on a subway, on a bus. Could read many of them on an airplane or standing in line to get on the airplane these days. But yeah, but do it socially. I loved being with you all today. And I hope that you start thinking of yourself as a developmentalist, because all of you are, and you should be proud of that. So thank you. I hope to see all of you tomorrow. That'd be great.
Yes. Thank you so much, Lois. And the link.
Thank you, Lois.
The link for purchasing the book is in the chat. What we're going to do is we're going to just take 1 to 2 minutes to open up the whiteboard. And if people want to meander in the mist, draw, write, share what's on their heart, what's on their mind.
You can take a sticky from the
side.
Yeah, for the left side, you can do a sticky note. You could do a text box. There you go. Mhm.
right, we'll take 30 more seconds. All right, we're gonna close it out. Thank you so much, everyone. Tomorrow is day 3 of Performing the World, Saturday, November 15th. We start early in the morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, from stage to street and back again, generating power through play and performance all the way from India. And then at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Listening from the Heart, American Friends of the Parents Circle, followed by at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Wakanda Peace Camp, Healing the Wounds of Civil War through play and performance. And to end it all off, we have at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Zip Talk, short sessions presented with zeal, intimacy, and passion. Thank you, everyone who's been with us today or yesterday or both days, and wishing you a nice evening, afternoon, or morning. See everyone tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.